Damn, did he just cut that off?
That was
What a piece of
that
shit.
was clean as fuck, son.
I'm gonna be
God
honest,
damn.
bro. Let me tell you why I cut it. Because I didn't
The intro is
realize
long as shit.
that intro was a Game of Thrones intro, bro. That shit never got changed. That's why I
Oh,
cut
Ah,
it.
damn.
I thought it
Yeah.
was
I
a
mean,
real
they
rap,
damn near
real
the
rap.
same.
Yeah, it's
I'm
Yeah.
about
almost
to
the same.
say,
It's actually a little different though. I should have played it so y'all could hear it.
I thought it
motherfuckers
was the
gonna
real
be
rap, yeah, yeah.
motherfuckers gonna be pulling up like mad as hell. They don't see Jon Snow or
Hey man,
Nigga just cut us off again.
hey, fuck it, we running it.
The real rap, yeah, yeah.
Hey, listen to the remix, man.
oh.
You know, rockin' with the real rap podcast, yeah, yeah. It's coming on, yeah, it's the official song, Game of Thrones.
There's Game of Thrones on the side.
Play this through your speakers, everybody gotta
That's what
hear
it
it.
is.
Slim Roots, Ice, F Dub, can't forget to mention lyric. It's the real rap
Literally
podcast,
only one of those
yeah,
people
it's
is on
coming
this.
on, yeah, it's the official song, Game of Thrones. Number one on
Technically two
YouTube,
right now.
nobody coming near it. So play this through your speakers, everybody gotta hear it, yeah. You know it's real rap, yeah, yeah. They about to bring the feel back. It's the real rap, yeah, yeah. You know what's up, going in, double dutch, yeah, yeah.
All right, let's try this again. Welcome to the Real Rap Coalition podcast. We are back this week with a continuation of our review of every episode of the Netflix anthology series Love, Death, and Robots. I am your host, KBot4000. Who else we got in the building?
F-Dub, we back in this bitch.
And Bob, Celeste, and Best.
I'm about to say, did Fireworks say something, or
Yeah.
like, can I just not hear him?
Yo. Can y'all hear
You
me?
can't hear him? I can hear him.
Okay, I'll be right back.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo!
Real rap, yeah, yeah.
Oh, shit.
You see, you can't throw me a curveball, bro, because I'm just.
All
I
right.
got you.
Yeah, we're good now. So this week is episode 2, according to the Wikipedia order. It is 3 Robots, an episode very fitting of the title of the series. Brief synopsis of this: 3 robots are on vacation and are going through a ruined city, seeing all the remnants of humanity previously, and kind of positing about what led to the circumstances that they currently find themselves in. It is,
Post-apocalyptic, by the way.
yeah, it's all fucked up. They're making some comedic points. It's a very comedy framed episode, as like compared to last week's episode, Sonnie's Edge, which I think is the first thing we'll talk about. Why would robots be on vacation? Damn, bro, everybody gets a vacation. Like,
I don't even know why they would have to take vacations, but one thing that fascinated me was how like human acting that these robots were.
yeah, you had like you had like the main tall robot who was like saying all the fuck words. You got the little AI voice robot who like sounded like a Samsung assistant. And then you had like the little orange robot who he was just happy to be there, man. Like he just thought all this shit was cool and funny.
Yeah,
um,
yeah, go ahead.
that's really I mean, aside from like the end, that's the only 3 characters that you have in terms of voice actors. I mean, I don't know how y'all felt about like how they sounded and shit, but
It's very like kind of like an Ed and Eddie type of dynamic between them, and obviously Shorty's gonna be like the double D, like the brainiac. That
what's
kind
going on,
of.
Joshua?
You talking to me? Who's you?
No, I wasn't talking to you. What the fuck?
Oh, my bad.
Oh man. But yeah, you said it's like, yeah, it's definitely comedy themed. How did you feel the comedy went?
I think it was more like punchy. It was more like punchy and kind of, yeah. It was a little bit more punchy and like sort of um. It's kind of like snarky rather than like um kind of dry humor. Like it's very what's the word, slapstick. Like yeah, it's like slapstick humor, kind of just like little punchy things that said like that kind of would make you laugh just because you might know better or whatever. But it's not, it wasn't like freaking knee slapping hilarious or anything, but
Yeah,
they
like
gave
I
them
don't.
fun
It's
personalities.
definitely like it's not. It's like social commentary and shit, you know. And like I was watching a video today where a motherfucker was like talking about some, you know, all the episodes and shit, and he was saying some shit about like you know this one where like he was almost trying to say that like laughing at this, you know, like I guess not in a negative way, but almost works as like a form of trauma response and shit, you know, because like the punchline to a lot of this shit is like horrendous shit that humanity does every day that like motherfuckers just kind of like accept, you know. By the way, Fireworks said he had to go, so it's just me and you, Bob, because our bitch ass fell asleep, I guess.
These old
Uh,
people just be falling asleep.
but yeah, I think that this shit is definitely it pokes fun at humanity, and that's like the whole thing. I don't know that I think that it like goes too far where it's like one of those, you've ever seen that meme where it's like, oh, curious, you hate society yet still partake in society. I don't think it gets to that level.
I mean, no, I think it was more just like them. It's kind of a way that you can critique society without kind of going on like a genuine scathing critique. You kind of just give people the unbiased perspective of newcomers to a situation they're unfamiliar with, and they look at what's going on and they're basically like, well, so, turns out that like this species that used to be here really had a fascination with like videos of like animals doing strange things. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like a way of like kind of talking about the mundane reality
And
of our
bouncing a
lives.
basketball and shit, they were like, oh yeah, like bouncing a ball was like close to maxing out their cognitive abilities and shit,
Yeah,
you
which
know.
is like, since it's like set so far in the future, it probably sounds like very primitive and like very kind of perplexing, almost like why some sort of like aware, conscious, sentient life would waste its like output with doing it. I guess because they're robots and they're supposed to be perfect and everything. But I guess the puncher to that is that these robots are in fact like quite fallible. I think the one um kind of the one with like the Eddie Murphy personality that's like real scared of the cat and stuff. I feel like he's, for like a robot who's supposed to be perfect and intelligent and efficient, like he's very humane in his kind of emotive reactions, and his kind of like scatterbrained like kind of approach to conversation.
Yeah, the little orange dude, he taught him what teabagging was and shit. You know what I'm saying? And he looked that shit up, and he was fucked up when he learned about that shit, man. Like he
It's
was.
like presumably like these things are supposed to just be like processing data, like new information, but like there's still some sort of like human register of like emotion or whatever where it's like, don't look this up because you won't be able to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, it's also like worth noting that, you know, even just the most like mundane tasks that you talk about, like their description of what like eating food is for humans, you know, like they're like, oh, they had like rocky pegs in their intake orifices and an internal vat of acid, and you know, some shit like that where like, damn, you know, like you, it sounds fucked up when you put it that way, you know, but that's just like how we exist, you know.
well, it's like they talk about us like machines. The machines are talking about us like machines.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's the even deeper kind of social commentary to that is that we talk about the machines like they're people now with like AI and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. I think also, you know, something that I liked was like, you know, they're within the diner and shit, and they're like, oh, well, where did they come from? And you know, the little AI voice robot bitch. She's like, yeah, like they were created by like an all-knowing, all-loving deity randomly out of nowhere, out of dust and whatever the fuck. And then it pauses for a second and was like, nah, just kidding. They came out of a very warm soup. And I think that it's funny that like they play like both sides of like the way that humans came to be, like both arguments, as like,
Yeah,
damn, do you hear how stupid, like this could sound? Like it doesn't really take a stance, it dunks on both, and I kind of appreciate that.
yeah. It kind of makes both positions sound a little bit silly or incredulous. Which,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think is definitely tactful writing. But the answer to that question is sort of like incidental or like kind of tangential to like guess what the episode is really trying to get at, right? Which is just like the triviality of like human existence from the POV of like the advanced future, but like even the future is like kind of perplexed and confused at like what humans were actually up to, right?
Yeah, and then like I say, it's you know the like one of the hidden, I guess, kind of things that you don't really think about to the end. It's like, yo, why the fuck is there still a house cat like running around this bitch? You know what I'm saying? It's like, why, oh, it's for a comedy punchline, but then like they tie it together in the end where like part of the extinction of humanity was like caused by giving opposable thumbs to like pet cats and shit, which sounds like a realistic thing that humans would try to do at some point, that probably would. I don't know necessarily about cats, but like you give opposable thumbs to some animals, it probably starts to fucking backfire, man.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously they were trying to, I guess, like they were kind of just trying to imply that like the evolution of man to be able to like manipulate his environment maximally was what ended up ultimately being like the downfall of life on the planet as you know it. You know what I'm saying? Like as a life form, we rose to supremacy by like augmenting the world that was given to us, right? So I think that's what the whole
Oh,
opposable
plus you
thumbs
missed
thing.
it, bro. A motherfucker jumped on a grenade, and it was a whole bunch of shit, bro. You would have fucked with this shit. Um, I do feel like that's a fair point, though. Honestly, like I think that, like, obviously it depends on whether it's for you or not, as to whether you feel like it's like sanctimonious or like bullshit propaganda and whatnot. But I mean, I think that it's like a valid point, where like the motherfucker was like, "Oh yeah, like they continued to advance and only thought of themselves, and like they choked the sky and poisoned the water and did all this shit because like that type of shit, that's like what really happens. You know what I'm saying? Like motherfuckers be fucking the environment up, and there's like consistent concerns with like climate change, climate control, and shit like that. You know, so I mean, I think that works to an extent. I think it's a good punchline.
Weirdly enough, I think the triangle bot, right? I was reading that in English, there's not a voice actor that's credited for it.
So you think it might actually be like a robot?
Well, people are saying that it's the text to speech engine,
Uh
like the stock one.
huh. Yeah.
So you wouldn't technically you wouldn't give that like a voice credit because it's like kind
Hmm.
of like using a tool to synthesize it, right?
That's interesting. If so, that's something I've never seen or heard of done before in a series.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a nice little like kind of Easter egg, I think, for what they were trying to develop and stuff. Um,
Uh, what like how did you feel about like the way everything looked, like the art style and shit?
I mean, the visuals of everything is what kind of like makes you want to take what's going on the screen seriously. I mean, it is like a really like good looking show. I would say that I would say that it's like it's I almost want to say that like the comedic tone of the show is kind of like a stark contrast to like how like well made the visuals look. I think the animation of the show looks a lot more serious than what's being said. But that might be on purpose. Because I mean the world did end
Yeah.
So I think that them conveying that would probably want to be important, but they just have people like the robots doing silly ass shit amidst that. So
I think that it's dope that like you begin the episode with the big robot like stepping on a skull or some shit, and that's like a reference to the Terminator. Um, and I think that it's cool that they do shit like that throughout. Just in terms of like artistic shit they do, but yeah, I mean, I think that it's a very well drawn, well animated episode, and I think that goes to its credit.
right,
Um, in in contrast with the last episode, I don't think that this one has like a tremendous amount of depth to it of like things to discuss. I mean, the if there, it's an episode played for laughs. It's like heavily comedy based. If you wanted to attribute a moral to the story, I think that it would be that humanity as a whole actions have consequences, and we should be more thoughtful in our day-to-day lives to try to preserve a world for our children, I guess, which is kind of like vapid and surface level to an extent. Like it's something that's parroted a lot, but I think it still has credence to it.
yeah. I mean, maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I don't think that I had like a strong moral as much as maybe it wanted to do like some commentary and
Yeah.
wanted to flirt with like some ideas about society. Maybe it wasn't really trying to teach something. It was more just trying to like say things that we know in a different way, kind of.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I'm cool with, honestly. And really, the thing about the episode is like it gives you enough like you give it enough like shadow of a doubt to where like you'll just sit there and like watch through it. No climactic thing, no real craziness until the end, and even that was like kind of milk toast and absurd, just like the remainder of the episode. So it's not like they really built you up for much. But I mean, I can't say it was poorly written. I would say it was definitely well written though.
I think that and also within the structure and whatnot, like I say, the first episode kind of gives you a taste pause of the like what the serious episodes, the action, all that shit is going to be about. This episode shows you that like this will also be a series that has like some lighthearted comedic writing, and there will be some funny episodes, to kind of like break the monotony of all the violence and the deep moral thoughts and shit like that. So,
Right.
I mean, I think it's good variety in you know, that aspect of it. Um, but I don't know, like I say, fireworks is gone, so it's just us. I don't know that there's much else to discuss here. Is there any other point that you wanted to make about the episode before the ending of it?
No, I mean it was pretty brief, so I think we pretty much covered it for the breadth. Unfortunately, this episode I think didn't really raise too many questions. It kind of just gave us something, and that's that. I mean, um, probably future episodes will have a little bit more to sink our teeth into, so to speak. But no, I think we probably covered it.
Okay.
It's
Do
the
you
sort of thing
want
where we'd
to?
be like, yeah, we probably said enough, and then you go on Reddit and they got essays, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, that's what them guys do, like their whole days and shit. So, do you
Exactly.
want to give your final thought and rating?
Yeah, overall, I think that the episode was good. It was definitely it said things that were like thought provoking or like would like start like a conversation, but it wasn't like super like exciting or anything like that. It was a little goofy, chuckle here and there, but nothing too much. I think first episode was a little bit stronger for me just because it had a little bit of action. It had a little bit more um kind of like narrative intrigue where things were going or what they were setting up and stuff. So yeah, overall, I say I just give this episode like a 7. It was a good episode.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I feel a lot of the same. I think that this is a well-made comedy episode. I think that it plays off of the fact that the show is called Love, Death, and Robots, and I think that it shows like a good aspect of like the technological shit that they're going to do with like I say, both episodes so far have been like some futuristic cyberpunk almost type of shit. Like this is a post-apocalyptic type of thing, so it's a little bit different. But like we're playing off the future, and I think that it's two different versions of a future, and I think that that's interesting moving forward. Um,
Yeah.
I think the laughs were played well. It's got like there's probably only like 4 or 5 jokes that are like really told without that are like the big jokes and whatnot. And then there's like funny things that happen like within the different scenarios. I think that it looks really good. I think that the voice actors and whatnot give the characters some good I don't know, tones, I guess, is the right phrase. And I do think that it's dope if they actually didn't have somebody like playing the third robot and it was just
Yeah.
a text to speech. I think that that's something unique and interesting that I haven't heard before. Um, I almost want to give it an extra half point just for that, like that knowledge, not, being that I didn't know that, but I'll probably just still give it an 8. I think it's a solid baseline, like for humor. It doesn't make you feel a lot of things, but it's an enjoyable, it's worth, like you go back and watch through the shit. It's something that's worth rewatching. It's enjoyable. And I think that that's all you can really ask for out of an episode is like, hey, you know, is this good enough to where I would watch it again? Yeah. Okay. Um, yeah, that being said, that averages out to a 7.5, which I think is
Okay.
solid. I can't remember what Sonny's Edge got. I want to say it was like a 8 point
It's like an
something.
8.3 or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, very different episodes. So, different rating, but nothing really too bad so far. The discussion was had off camera that we're probably going to try to hammer out some more content in regards to this show. The next episode is The Witness, so we'll definitely be doing that shit. um the discussion was also perhaps that we might do episode 4, which is Suits. So one thing at a time, but we'll figure out, within the next week and coordinate accordingly. But yeah, I mean, quick episode, got in and out of there. Hit the music, Slim.
Yeah, rocking with the